My goal in this video is to give you quick ways to graph all 6 trig functions. So when you're graphing your trig functions, here's what you basically want to always start with. You think, okay, I have an amplitude right there to there. All right, and just put a line out here, that's my period. So again, you just amplitude, period. The amplitude is right there, so 5. So like, okay, that's -5 and +5. Now the negative just means it's going to be going down on the sign first. Now next, to find your period, it's not just 3 pi, it's going to be 2 pi divided by the 3 pi, which is 2/3. Let's divide out. So this right here is 2/3. So once we get those things labeled, we're ready to go. What we now have to do is to think, okay, sine, well sine always starts right there and ends right here. Halfway through, it hits the midline again. And since it's a negative, you know it's going to go down halfway to that, and halfway between here you hit again. So there is my sketch done. So let's do this next one right here, this cosine graph. So same thing, just put a dash there for your amplitude, and put a line out here for your period. Your amplitude is 4. Okay, 4 up, -4 down. Next, this, okay, that is your period. My b is 3/2, so 2 pi divided by 3/2 is going to be 2 pi times 2/3, put a 1 underneath. That looks like you're going to get 4 pi over 3. So we're going to call this 4 pi over 3. Next, it's cosine. So cosine means you're going to start and end at the top. If it was negative, you start and end at the bottom. So we're going to start here at the top, and we're going to end here at the top. Halfway through, you're going to drop down to the minimum value, and halfway between here, you're going to put a dot, and halfway between here, you're going to put a dot. And then it has the concave down look, then concave up look, and concave down look, kind of like that for cosine. Pretty quick ways to graph it. Now, if these had a midline, it'd be a little bit more complicated, and you'd be putting your midline, it would be now be the right here, the midline is the x-axis, but if you had a midline, you would just be going these around the midline, but these don't have it. Graphing tangent and cotangent are just like graphing sinusoids. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your mark here for your vertical stretch. Now, it's not your amplitude this time, it's a vertical stretch, but I don't like to make it go as high. There's a reason, you'll see in a second. And my period, I'm going to put out here somewhere. All right, so this right here is your vertical stretch, which used to be your amplitude, and this is your period. So my vertical stretch is 3. You can see the number right there, 3, and -3. And my period is going to be pi, not 2 pi, divided by 4. So this right here is going to be pi divided by 4. The 4 came from right there. So there we go. So for tangent, we're going to start here and end here. Halfway through, you are going to have an asymptote, a vertical asymptote. Then, halfway through, for each of these, you are going to go up your vertical stretch and down your vertical stretch, and then you go up against the asymptote, and then you go up against the asymptote, and we have now sketched tangent. Hopefully you can see why I didn't put these as high, because I want this curve to go up like that. All right, for the next one here, you put your vertical stretch, and out here you put your period. Your vertical stretch here is a -1, so you have a -1 and a +1. Your period is pi divided by 1/3, which would be 3 pi. So this is 3 pi. Now what's different about cotangent is the asymptotes are the edges this time. So the edges are your asymptotes, all right? And smack in the middle is your value. Because of the negative right there, halfway between these, right here, you're going to be going down 1. So right here, you're going to be going down 1. And over here, you're going to be going up 1. And so your graph for cotangent looks like that. Okay, and it goes down there. So if this was a positive, it would have this look. Just remember, cotangent has asymptotes here on the edges, while tangent has an asymptote right down the middle. And also remember that something to think about, these dots and these dots kind of look like a sine graph. Lastly, we're going to graph cosecant and secant. All right, same starting point. We look for our a value. So for this one, I'm going to put it here. That's going to be positive 2 and negative 2. Then we put our period out here. All right, so I go 2 pi divided by, 2 pi divided by pi over 3. When you divide, again, this is going to become 2 pi over 1 times 3 over pi, because you flip and multiply, those disappear. So here I got 6, so this is going to be 6 over. Now, for cosecant, you want to treat it just like sine. So basically, I'm going to graph sine. So I'm going to put a dot there. It's not really a dot, it's a temporary dot. A dot here, and halfway through I put a dot. Okay, halfway between these, because it's negative 2, you're going to drop down, and this one's going to drop up. Now, the difference here with this type of graph is you have asymptotes wherever you hit the x-axis, you're going to have an asymptote. So we have an asymptote right there, and right there. The reason you have asymptotes right there is because if sine is 0, the reciprocal of that is undefined, and undefined are asymptotes. So now these are your dots still. So your graph, normally sine goes like this. But so you're just going to go the opposite, the reciprocal of that. So it's going to look like this. Boom. And boom. There you go. Now for secant, so we're going to put 4, up and down 4. So we're going to go 4 here. We're going to go negative 4 there. We got to find our period. So our period is 2 pi divided by 2, which is pi. So right there is pi. All right. Now we're going to draw cosine. So cosine is going to start up here. Then it's going to end up there. Halfway through, you're going to drop down to your negative 4. And then halfway, you're going to hit there. And halfway, you're going to hit there. Now we got to remember from before, remember that when you have they're in reciprocals, so wherever it's 0, reciprocal become undefined. So you're going to have an asymptote wherever it hits 0. So that's an asymptote. Okay. Now it's going to be normally tangent would go like this here. Sorry, not tangent. Cosine would go like this here. So you're in a reciprocal, so it'll be upside down. So the graph will look like that right there. For this one, normally it'd be going up, so you're going to be going the reciprocal. Normally it'd be going down, so you do the reciprocal. So it's going to be going up like that, and up like that against the asymptotes, and down right here. Hopefully these quick ways help you.